Do you have a face for a dark room? Do people tell you you're ugly? Have you ever looked in the mirror and it cracked? Have you ever been to the zoo and people throw peanuts and food at you? Well, let me tell you what. Why don't you check out Mark's Wrestling Masks on Facebook? That's MARC''S. Mark's Wrestling Masks on Facebook, because that's who keeps our ugly mugs covered too. Welcome to the Shiz Show with your hosts, Vader from Wish and NWO Machine and NWO Cat.
Welcome
Hello again
to the Shiz Show. How do you like that intro?
That's awesome.
Now,
That brings back memories.
Yeah, bring back memories. Now, don't say who it is yet.
It's relevant to our show.
It is relevant to our show today because today we're gonna hit a little bit of what ifs.
Yeah.
And best
The Mount Rushmore of Jobbers.
the Mount Rushmore of Jobbers, which is a great, and thanks to
my
Ricky,
brother. Yeah,
Ricky,
that was his idea. Yeah.
for that.
We were just shooting the shiz and
Yeah.
it came up. Yeah.
So, on that theme that we just went through, I'm literally, if you don't know who that is, and if you do know who that is, pat yourself on the back. Because to me, he is, in my mind, just for me right now, he has to be on the Mount
He's on
Rushmore.
the Mount. Yeah.
Yeah. Barry Horowitz.
Horowitz. Yeah.
Has to be on the Mount Rushmore. I mean, when he came out, the sequin jacket with the handprint on the
Was
back.
that him? I thought that was Steve O that had the.
No, that was Horowitz had that on. And he would,
that's right. Yeah.
he would
Pat
tap
himself.
himself on the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for sure. And again, a lovable character.
Yeah.
He could wrestle.
He's a
but
good wrestler.
just
Yeah.
Something he couldn't get anywhere.
Enhancement talent.
Yeah, the enhancement talent. Well, Jobbers.
Jobber.
Yeah, Jobber, enhancement talent.
Doing the Giazab.
Yeah. So now, where would you see? Now, it's too bad they don't really have that any longer.
Yeah.
I think, and I mentioned to you this in text one the other day, that I think the only jobber that, in my mind, I can think about in the last 2 years is Elias.
Yeah.
Like, they never gave him anything.
No.
And pushed him into his twin brother, and
Yeah.
which was kind of funny, but still, he never won.
And like you're saying too, maybe R-Truth to some extent.
Yeah.
Because,
He's the comedy,
Yeah.
he's the comedy angle, and we love him.
Yeah.
And we'd love to see, I mean, if he won a match, they would pop.
oh yeah.
But he doesn't win.
I think the problem is though, like the jobbers were on like the weekly show.
Yes.
They didn't have like the shows they have now, like where it's just 3 times a week and they got all kinds of other stuff splintering off of it.
Yeah.
So now everything is a big show.
Yeah.
So they don't have a spot for the jobbers anymore.
Yeah.
And it was nice because a lot of times it was local guys that just get a chance to be on TV. Like I remember guys that I wrestled with, Brian Jewell
Gigi
and Marty
Cruz.
Jannetty.
Yeah.
Like they got up, they did I think the Undertaker when WWE was here for the X one year.
Okay.
Yeah, and they did a match with him, and it was they did the job
Oh,
obviously.
yeah, they pulled the local guys.
Yeah, and they pulled the local guy, and AEW I think did that too when they were here last time. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the local guys got a shot at the dark stuff. But,
Sure.
'cause I think AEW they have a couple guys that, and you could tell they're local guys like, who the heck is this?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
but yeah, WWE I don't think they could do it anymore because their roster's so deep that it just, and they're paying, they're like, I'm paying you, you're going to be on TV, you're not going to sit at home.
The only time I can, in the last month maybe, with they keep being, what are those guys' name? It's they were with Jinder Mahal for a bit.
Oh, Shanky
and those
Veer
guys.
and Shanky, yeah.
And they would face these
they'd have
local guys, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But there's not a true traveling jobber like a Barry Horowitz.
No, not anymore.
Because you would actually, even at a local show, a house show, we'd still see Barry Horowitz here, right?
You could probably bring him in now if he. Well, I don't know, maybe he's too old. But
yeah, but yeah, he's. Yeah, I would say he's probably.
I still picture these guys as young. I forget how
yeah.
old we are now. It's
Yeah,
like, what?
All right, so he would be.
He's got to be right up there.
He's got to be on the Mount Rushmore of jobbers for sure. And another guy again, even the music, catchy music, right?
Yeah.
So again, Barry Horowitz, in my mind, is number one on my Mount Rushmore.
No, he's number.
He's number one for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would your number two be?
Steve Lombardi.
Very good.
Brooklyn Brawler.
Brooklyn Brawler, Kimchi.
Kimchi.
What was the baseball guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. So much for wrestling knowledge.
Yeah.
But the baseball.
Yeah, the baseball guy.
Yeah. What the heck was his name now?
Yeah.
But
There's
yeah.
a guy that does that locally in the Rumble to Remember. He comes out. We've had him on the show.
What?
Yeah. He comes out in the baseball gimmick.
I don't want to know who it is. I don't want to know who it is. But why
I don't want to ruin it, but he's mysterious.
why do you think Brawler never got anywhere?
I think he knew his place. So
Yeah,
because didn't they use him for training too? Like I thought he worked with the guys, or he had some kind of an agent type role too. So so I guess it's a way for him to do double duty. Like
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't wonder why he never got anywhere.
He was a decent enough worker. Like but I mean things were a lot more simple back then too. So you don't want your jobber to be good because you don't want him to overshine the the guy that's going over or doing the squash job or whatever. So they had to keep it basic, but they're really good at the basic stuff. But that's kind of what wrestling was. The old school wrestling was back then. It was just basic.
I want to say it was MVP. What was the baseball character?
I don't know.
But he played quite a Kimchi. He played himself, Steve Lombardi. And I'm just trying to think what I can't find the name of the guy. That's going to drive me up the wall here. What the wrestler's name was, but yeah, maybe he liked his place, right? Yeah. But now here's a twist. We just found out that Paul Heyman's going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Yeah. Why? He's still active.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put Brawler in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there are so many guys available that should be into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Why would you put an active guy in there? I just don't understand.
Yeah. I just checked the Shizumacator 2000, our supercomputer system,
okay.
And it is MVP.
It is MVP. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was again. But back in the day, we didn't know he was Kimchi.
No, I didn't.
We didn't know.
I forgot until you mentioned it right now. I'm like, oh yeah.
So he's definitely a Mount Rushmore guy.
Yeah.
And for playing more than one character.
Yeah.
Like everyone that he was a jobber.
Yeah.
Doink.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Doink for a little while after.
I think after Matt Bourne left. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a bit of a. What would be interesting? He should have come back as the Chameleon.
Yeah.
That would have been a name for him, right? Yeah. So. I think that would be.
He's got to be up there. So.
He's got to be up there. Okay, my next one, and our good old buddy JD from Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's still listening. I don't know where JD's disappeared to. He's off Twitter too. But the Iron Mike Sharp.
Yeah, Canada's greatest athlete.
To me, he would be.
Yeah, he's got to be up there.
He's got to be, right?
Yeah, he had that arm thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got the armband, and we always hoped for him.
Yeah, and sometimes he came close.
Yeah,
he was like, he's gonna go. No,
and I think that was going back to Horowitz. We all wanted him to win.
Yeah.
By the end of it, okay,
let's
listen,
give him one already. Yeah.
Because I think before we understood the business, we were like, oh, this guy again, he's got to win. Like we actually believed, he might have a chance to win.
It's his night.
It's his.
The stars are aligned.
This is it, man. Yeah,
but they were not aligned.
Yeah, they were not aligned. I honestly, so if those are our top three that we can think of.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could put another one in there.
Oh, for sure.
Back in the day, who would you put in?
The Tulip.
What?
Local guy.
Oh, I'm talking a real jobber.
There's lots. Man Mountain Mike from AWA.
Oh, maybe.
He was another one. I mean, to some extent. I mean, he's a Skinner and he's rotting in jail, but rock and roll Buck Zumhoff.
No, but Buck was a champion for a little while, was he?
I guess I think with NW. Yeah, maybe he was with AWA. I think he was there.
Yeah, I remember him coming out.
But he was kind of
He's in the mid range of
he's a mid card. I guess not so much a jobber, but at least
that's true jobber. I can't think of any WWE guy that I would watch weekly.
SD Jones, he used to come out all. I mean, he was good before, and then he came over, and he was. You knew he was going to lose as soon as you.
Yeah.
Sometimes just their ring attire, like if they had that zip up, that kind of shiny nylon jacket, there's no way this guy's going over. Like he's wearing a jacket from the '60s and it's 1984. Like, no.
You know what? You're so right about the gear, man. You see a guy come out and just his mother's leotards. Jobbergear.com. Let's do that. Oh man, you're so right. Like mismatched gear.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna happen.
No.
Yeah. pink and brown or something that someone threw in the background. Okay, this guy's not a. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that would be
one of the upper talent guys is selling gear in the back. He's like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, all right. We can't think any more Mount Rushmore. Those were the ones like again.
I know. There's somebody's gonna comment that.
Yeah.
Oh, you forgot so, and we'll be like, oh yeah.
Get bro on the phone.
Yeah.
Get him on there right now. Let's just phone him out of nowhere.
Phone him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Cold call him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just we'll see if he no sells.
Okay.
And we'll just ask Tricky Ricky.
Yeah.
What he thinks is happening.
Okay.
Yeah. We're on the hotline now.
All right.
We need one more jobber on the list.
Let me find his number here.
Yeah. This is live, folks.
This is live. He doesn't know we're calling, so we're so sneaky.
I know.
Oh,
hey Ricky, it's the Shiz Show calling you. You're on live.
Yeah. How's it going, Rick?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. This is an impromptu phone call as we're recording, and your little baby brother.
But he's the younger one.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, but you look it.
Okay.
So, Rick, here's the thing. We were talking about. You were kind of part of this conversation, so I figured let's just get him in here. We have 3 jobbers on our Mount Rushmore right now. Let me give you the list. Number 3 was Iron Mike Sharp. Okay, on our Mount Rushmore of jobbers. Number 3, Iron Mike Sharp. Number 2, Brooklyn Brawler. Kimchi /
Steve Lombardi /
MVP baseball guy. So that's our number 2. Number 1 jobber of all time in Mar books right now for our Mount Rushmore, Barry Horowitz. Now
we're stumped.
Now we sat here going, we need a 4th.
Yeah.
We better call Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, who would you pick, and would you agree with what we have so far?
I agree so far. Brooklyn Brawler, he was kind of a main eventer, though, for a bit with Bobby Heenan. He was part of the Heenan family.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
But I mean,
they're giving him a bit of a run.
And Doink, he was decent with Doink. But we're talking about Brooklyn Brawler never won, right? We would.
He did, but I think he went up again. But as we'll say Steve Lombardi.
Yeah. But I just as sort of a jobber that we kind of remember as jobber. Would be him, unless you really dig deep like we are right now and go, okay, well, he did have his run with Heenan, blah, blah, blah. But who would your 4th be? Do you have one in mind? I know we're just kind of calling you out of nowhere, but...
Special Delivery Jones.
Oh, very good. That's what Vader said, too.
SD Jones.
Yeah,
SD
Jones.
One,
Yeah. So maybe
Jim
that's...
Powers?
Who?
Jim Powers?
Yeah,
Oh,
kind of.
Powers, too. Would be
He's another
one.
guy.
But
Well, he was in the Young Stallions with Paul Roma, wasn't he?
I was just going to say he was with Roma, so you're... But again, before that, for sure, I was even going to say, I know as crazy as it sounds, Tito Santana, but even he got a push later on. But I never remembered Tito being that big a push. They loved him, Arriba, yada, yada, yada.
The flying burrito.
Yeah, the flying burrito. But I just couldn't think of another one that we sat there and went, man, this guy's never winning.
What about Leaping Lanny Poffo?
Bingo.
Yeah,
there it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Before he was a genius.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to use.
Because he brought a lot of luchador stuff. I think he was one of the first guys to do the moonsault.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
right.
And to actually do some of that high flying stuff where he learned in Mexico, because I believe his dad sent him down to learn from some of the Lucha Libre guys, because they were running a promotion on when they were out of Texas on the other side of the border. So he was bringing a lot of that to mainstream, to the North American market with his Leaping Lanny Poffo.
And you know what? Yeah, you're bringing back memories, because I almost look at a jobber like guys you never really liked. As soon as you saw him, and that's right, as soon as you saw Leaping Lanny, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. But he threw the frisbees. So.
Yeah.
Well, he would do a poem or a limerick.
Yeah, a limerick.
Don't start, because 2 episodes ago we had Paul Fontaine with a limerick that we can't repeat.
And then, what about Rocky King?
Well, now you're going to people we don't even know.
I don't recall him. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's old. Like,
That's-
that's
you're- but you're-
because I was trying to think of some of the old AWA guys. Like
Yeah.
like I mentioned Buck Zumhoff, but I guess Machine pointed out that he did have a title for a bit. So and like Mad Mountain Mike, I remember he was another
Yeah.
one. So
Mantar,
yeah, Manitar. yeah,
Bastion Booger.
Well,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Those guys never
Booger.
won. Yeah.
and then Tugboat and those guys. But again, they were kind of main card guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
you
Like,
can't
they
go
turned
with
into
Tugboat.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tugboat turned into
Yeah.
like Earthquake and Typhoon, right?
Yeah.
So with the championships.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
guys
even
that we,
Repo Man too. Like he kind of got to the point where
he was jobbing at the end.
Yeah.
But again, you take away Demolition, where do you go with him, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that would be. So Rick, can you are you okay sticking with us for a few minutes yet?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because just because you threw us a bone here and went with this idea, we're gonna sort of. So our Mount Rushmore is going to be Barry Horowitz. We're gonna go with Steve Lombardi. I almost said Vince Lombardi. Wrong guy.
I was just looking up. I think Tom Stone.
I have no
He's
idea.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Like he in the old like watching
Yeah.
WWF when it was on Saturday. Like when it
Yeah,
first got big,
yeah.
he was one of the enhancement guys. I think he's a kind of a fat guy.
I would remember them seeing them like, but so I'm gonna even Dean Douglas to start out was getting
Yeah.
pounded like
Oh,
crazy.
for sure, yeah.
But so we're gonna go with Steve Lombardi, Iron Mike Sharp, Barry Horowitz, and then it's kind of insert your own. There's no wrong answer
No.
here.
Yeah.
It's just who we thought. But I do like the SD Jones.
Yeah.
Leap and Lanny to me would be my fourth.
Yeah.
Because that would be the guy I remember the most. But yeah, SD Jones. And then anybody else, if you're listening to the show, feel free to leave us a comment and let us know who your jobbers might be for the Mount Rushmore. We're always doing these Mount Rushmore of the greatest.
Yeah.
That
seems to be a thing now. I think Undertaker was just doing it. And
Mount
that's,
Rushmore of the shiz.
yeah.
The shiz wrestlers.
Yeah.
So now we're going to switch to the what ifs, and I thought this was another great idea on what ifs. So Vader, do you want to start this one off, or do you want me to just throw one out right now?
I'll start off
Okay, you
just
start
because
off.
he's been
Yeah.
making appearances lately,
Yeah.
like with Sting retiring. So what if Magnum TA didn't get into that car accident? He was on such an uptick with the NWA. Like I think he was supposed to get the big gold, and it just now you look at him and he looks like he's probably got like yellow stained 2 fingers and thumb from smoking
Yeah.
roll your own cigarettes. Like that's what he looks like now.
Yeah, I guess the thing was me being young and you were young back then.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of Magnum. I
Yeah. I just remember from the magazines because
Yeah.
again, like we've said before,
Yeah.
we were out of that territory. So
Yeah,
we
didn't
got
catch-
the AWA
yeah.
stuff, but
So I just think that eventually that a guy like Ric Flair
Yeah.
would have come out of nowhere
Mhm.
again, but
well, Flair was around. Like,
he was around.
Yeah.
But again, we're gonna hit that what if
Yeah.
that plane crash never happened.
Yeah.
Would Flair really have become that Ric Flair
Yeah.
had he not had that accident, lost some weight, blah blah. But the Magnum thing, I don't know. Like I just don't know if he would have been. And I'll use the mark. Would he be the next Hulk Hogan? Was he that good?
Oh, no.
I don't know if he
No.
was that big a name.
Yeah.
He would have been. I think he would have been a multiple time champion, and I don't know if he would have gone as far as being part of the old guard that started the NWO
Yeah.
in WCW. I don't think if he would have gotten that far, but I think he would have been
Like a Lex
staple
Luger
throughout-
type.
Yeah.
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 I-
I don't know. I just don't see. Again, I don't know enough on that side of things, but
Yeah.
looking back at some of the things,
Yeah.
My own personal thing, I don't see it. I never
Yeah.
saw him as, even like when I sort of see clips or whatever, to me, he wasn't that charismatic in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
He just wasn't as charismatic as maybe he could be.
He just kind of came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and he caught on fast, and he was like a natural. Like I think there was a dark side of the ring about him.
There was
so
a
that
dark
was like
side,
so the
yeah.
people that so a lot of the stuff that I knew of him, I knew
Yeah.
of his circumstances, but to watch that gave a little more context to things. And
let's not forget that. Let's take a look at his look, like Magnum TA,
Yeah.
Magnum PI.
Yeah.
right. He like the females were all over
Oh,
the
for
Tom
sure.
Selleck thing.
Yeah.
So maybe his popularity, part of his popularity, he looked like Tom Selleck.
yeah,
So maybe he would have done well
Yeah.
for the next couple years until that show was off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, who knows? Yeah,
Maybe that was the real push on him going, hey,
Yeah.
we got a guy that looks exactly like Tom Selleck here. He's athletic, he's in shape, he's ripped.
I think
and-
they did that to Chi Chi Cruz when he was in Tennessee.
Oh, did they?
Smoky Mountain, because they said, "Oh, you look like Michael Bolton." So I think they called him Bobby Bolton or something.
Oh,
like
I
that.
didn't know that.
I might be mistaken,
Yeah.
but I thought it was something Bolton that they called him because he had that look. So
I tell you what, if someone put me as Michael Bolton, I'd be bolting out of there. But I didn't know that about Cheech. I'll have to message him and find out. But yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts on that Magnum TA thing? Do you think that the popularity, Rick, was because of Tom Selleck?
I think a lot of it had to do with it and his marketability, especially, you had Flair at the time bringing in the women, and the women that didn't like Flair could like Magnum.
yeah,
But when I was talking about this with someone the other day, I was thinking, what would have happened in the Okay, he would have been fine throughout the 80s. And then in the early 90s, he would have been fine. But then when they did the big takeover, WWF expanded, WCW cleaned up the rest of the guys and took them. And then the other guys that didn't get picked up, they got sort of splintered off into different areas and territories. I wonder how he would have done through the Attitude Era / NWO Nitro era. Would he have been an on-screen talent, or would he have been a gatekeeper jobber guy, or would he have been back-end booking with Bruce Pritchard and company?
Yeah, maybe, because he would have had to really develop his character, and like that's why some of those guys had that staying power, because like the Scott Halls, like from Big Scott Hall to the outsider Scott Hall, there's a lot of character development that he went through. He had all that time, so yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, that's good. All right, so let's hit just because we touched upon it by accident.
Yeah,
Ric Flair.
Yeah,
is Ric Flair?
Because he was not a good-looking man.
No,
when he first got in, he looked like some kind of an ogre creature. Like, to
be honest with you,
when I see pictures,
I don't think he was a good-looking guy.
No, but I'm just saying, like the look, like that look with the shaved head and just as big as he was, like was not the nature boy.
No. So I think, I hate to say it, but the plane crash did him well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think without the plane crash, we lose Ric Flair. To Magnum. Yeah. Had he not had the car crash, right? So I think Magnum would have been the guy.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Flair would have eventually faded out into wherever. Maybe come back in 2 years. Maybe he does get in shape. But I think the plane crash elevated Ric Flair to be what he is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Well, Rick, I think it was Ricky Steamboat who got him working out and got him to build the muscles around his back, which got him into a better condition. But he had quit. I think it was Vern Gagne's camp. He had quit a couple of times, and I think it was Vern Gagne himself who went to the hotel and pulled Ric Flair out of bed and said, "No, kid, you got to keep going with this."
That's kind of like what
that would have been scary back then because he's an old shooter. So he would have just pretzeled him up to get him to the training camp.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, I don't recall a lot of Ric Flair prior to that.
Yeah.
But did his personality come out because of the plane crash? Did he have this? Like, what I mean by that is when you come through of a miracle.
Yeah.
Where you should have been killed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, plane crashes, let's face it.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of people come out of them.
Yeah.
And he becomes this aloof. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, he started, like, to me, that character is, I'm enjoying life. I don't give a shit now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So to me, did that elevate his character? Did he become Ric Flair? Like a real Ric Flair? Because of that?
It's like a superhero. That was his, that's his vat of acid that he fell in that gave him his superpowers.
Yeah, and become that. Like, there's this, it's almost like I dare you to kill me again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and he's made it this far.
Yeah.
So, I think the what if there was no plane crash, there would be no Ric Flair.
Yeah.
In this sense.
Yeah.
Like we know him today.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Now I wish that he would just trip down the stairs.
You when we were talking about this, Rick, you had a good one about somebody going to WWF instead of staying with
Dusty.
Them. Yeah.
Dusty went instead of Hogan because Vince Jr. was really pumping Dusty's tires before Hulk Hogan, and he was trying to get Dusty over to WWF. Dusty said no. He stayed with Turner, I think, or Crockett.
Yeah.
And then that's when WWF got Terry Bollea and created the whole Hulkamania Hulk Hogan experience.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
How's that for a heel? Right? Jesse Ventura, like they'd be like, "Here comes Hulk Hogan." Or, never heard of him. Yeah, yeah, boy, there's
that changed the future of wrestling like that. The whole landscape just by that one decision. It's
Yeah. What if Hogan said no? What if Terry Bollea said no? I'm going to stay as a heel. I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. What if he would have said no?
Yeah.
Where would we be today?
Oh yeah.
Probably not as far as we've come with this business. I don't think for sure. I don't care what anybody says. He is the guy.
Yeah.
That changed it all. Like for little kids to big kids,
the whole rock and wrestling type thing. That was
cartoons, merchandise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't recall ever seeing a shirt anywhere. You go to these events and there's there's whatever you get these. Well, mind you, I would die for a Baron von Raschke shirt.
Oh yeah.
Right now, but
you'll probably find them like one of those like
yeah.
T-Public or something like that. Probably be able to.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question.
What?
This is totally off the what ifs.
Okay.
Baron von Raschke.
Yeah.
Why is he not in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Yeah. I don't.
Rick, do you have an idea? I have a thought, but I don't know.
Well, I think there was a major class action or something that a bunch of guys were named in as part of the class against WWF or WWE.
Okay.
And maybe because I think that's why One Man Gang isn't talked about too often.
Jesse isn't in the Hall of Fame, is he? Like, no. Yeah. I think he was big one trying to unionize them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And he was the one who said Hulk Hogan stopped him.
Yeah.
He backstabbed him, right?
Yeah.
But I think that take away the class actions out of that. I think because he portrayed German.
Yeah.
I just think that's the whole thing. He's a German.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I don't even think he's really German.
No,
right?
But the Sheik is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's another one that's controversial, but I think it has to do with more the German, the Nazi, the whatever. Meanwhile, we have, let's face it, we have Imperium in here.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're not goose stepping with their arm out holding the claw. Like,
no, I know. I mean, that was part of the
because before he set up the claw, he would start goose stepping and he'd have his arm out.
But that's back. Yeah, he was not. I don't think he was doing that. But
he did. When he'd set up the claw, he would goose step.
Well, I know goose step,
yeah.
but I don't think the.
No, he was holding it out like he was going to give the claw.
Yeah.
He wasn't like doing the salute. It was like he was holding on to the arm. Like,
yeah. But I remember the goose step.
That's all the people need to know.
Yeah, it's. I loved him.
Yeah.
Like as much as he was a heel, I loved him. But to me, here's woke, right?
Yeah.
They're looking back going, well, you can't put him in. He represented Nazis.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He was the Baron von Raschke. I was scared of the claw.
Yeah.
He could crush a coconut with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember no goose stepping Nazi.
Yeah.
I remember the red and black, the hood. He scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Right?
He was like the hooded Fang from that Jacob Tutu meets a hooded Fang. That's what I think of whenever when I read that book. That's who I pictured the whole time.
The hooded Fang, and make sure there's an N in there.
Yeah.
So I wish he would be in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame. If you look back at some of these older characters,
there's a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot that should be in there. And regardless of class action or not, you're going on talent.
Yeah, if it's a wrestling Hall of Fame, then you
you got to have them in.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of lawsuits all over the place.
I think Nick Bockwinkel's in, but
I think he is in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get back to any other what.
Yeah.
ifs.
So that with Dusty, like that's a big one. There's another. What if DX wasn't allowed to do the crotch chop?
Okay, so. Hang on, let me throw because what you're saying is kind of I was going to throw a ball into this,
Sure.
so let's lob this into there. Let's go with that DX.
Okay.
Let's say that prior to DX, let's say the Monday Night Wars ended because WWF was in turmoil at the time.
Right.
Let's say Vince goes, "I'm done."
Yeah.
What happens? Do these guys go over and Ted Turner keeps wrestling?
Yeah.
Because don't forget, he didn't like it because he didn't want the crotch chops. He didn't want the dirty stuff. He wanted a family show.
Right.
So I think at that point in time, wrestling would have faded.
Yeah.
If WWF
I wouldn't say it faded. It just would have never progressed.
Well, that's what I mean. Like it just would have been like, whatever. Yeah. It's wrestling. But because Vince stayed in, but what if he did not? I think that Ted Turner would eventually obliviated and and just destroyed wrestling like he did with WCW.
Yeah.
Or would have Vince taken his buyout money from Ted Turner, licked his wounds, waited for them to get into a vulnerable state, and then swoop in and try and buy them back for pennies on the dollar?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Could have done that, because Turner would have probably just went, I'm done.
Yeah. Well,
because Vince didn't want the crotch chops and the sexualization either, right?
Unless it was in his office.
Yeah.
Shush. But you want to, because he was coming out of the family show. He was coming out of the rock and wrestling era.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I think it was Shawn Michaels and company that said, listen, if you want to take this to the next level, we've got to push the envelope a little bit more.
Yeah.
So maybe the what if is not if they didn't have that crotch chop. What if Michaels and Hunter went, okay, we'll be clean.
Yeah.
What if? Would they have died a horrible death?
Oh, I think they would have.
Yeah.
Because that whole Attitude Era was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. They saved. As much as I'm not a fan.
That made Vince a billionaire.
That made him what he is today. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what makes me laugh about right now. And we've joked about it. How The Rock comes in. Now he's talking about meth heads and cocaine.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 weeks ago, you could only say, I kicked your bum.
Yeah.
And here comes The Rock going, you bunch of meth heads and coke addicts, right? It makes me laugh. So I think Rock right now, and even though we're talking to AEW and WWE, I think Rock is elevating, as much as people are hating on Rock right now, as the heel, which is what he wants.
Yeah.
I think he's elevating them again because he's come in and going, I'm the board. I'll say what I want, kind of thing.
He's kind of reminding people of what it used to be.
Yeah, he's given us a little taste of that.
Yeah.
I think, okay, here's one. What if The Rock didn't come back? Would we still be as interested in this storyline? I don't think so.
I don't think. Well, I'm already not interested in it. But
same.
Yeah, I just want it to be over.
But just to touch on your comment about The Rock, I think he's sort of stepped into the Mr. McMahon evil role. Like he's sort of like how he was the Mr. McMahon bad guy character.
Yeah.
I think that The Rock is sort of taken over that to try and give them a little bit more credibility and a little more cleanliness to the product. And we've got this massive superstar in The Rock. How do we leverage him to our advantage? Well, let's make him the bad guy. People are still going to like him because he's The Rock. He's the people's champion, even though he's playing the heel part now. But we're all in on the joke now. Kayfabe is essentially gone.
Yeah.
So now it's just like watching your favorite soap opera or drama TV show where you want to see, like, okay, well, what's going to happen this week? It's almost like when players switch teams. You know what?
Yeah.
Like I like Tom Brady, but when he was with the Patriots, he was a bad guy. But then when he went to the Buccaneers, he was kind of the underdog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I think when he went to the Bucs, he got a lot more fans behind him and a lot more people paying more attention to him because they wanted to see how he was going to do. You know what I mean? And I think that's what keeps people interested in wrestling.
Let's just touch on that Brady thing because I am not a Patriots fan, but but I'll always admit when a quarterback's a good quarterback, like a good player is a good player.
He could throw a ball 10 yards.
Yeah, but he had a good cheating coach.
Yes.
So, but when he went to the Bucs, it's almost like you wanted him to win now.
I want him to lose miserably. I exploit him for the piece of garbage.
I wanted him to win for one reason, because Belichick said he didn't need Tom Brady.
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree with you.
And to me, like I still hate Belichick. When they were talking about him going to the Cowboys, I'm like,
I was hoping.
You're a dick. So
go Steelers.
I never liked the Belichick thing. And of course, you can't just tell me, like, if there's a deflate gate, you can't have a deflate gate without two people knowing.
Yeah.
Belichick and Brady.
Yeah.
And again, to me, it's more of a Belichick idea. Like it's a coach saying, hey, listen.
Yeah.
If you deflate the ball, do you think you could?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things. But I think when he went to the Bucs, who sucked prior to him getting there, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl single-handedly for that year. After that, he brought in his buddy. They won. You can't tell me that without those two, the Bucks would still be nowhere.
Yeah, they wouldn't have won without those two. Yeah.
So anyway,
sorry.
Here's another what if.
Okay.
What if we hadn't have called Rick? We wouldn't have made it to this time frame.
No kidding.
So, Rick, we got to cut her off now, buddy. And like I say, you're always welcome on the show. And thanks for the great fodder for today, buddy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay,
Hey,
pal.
perfect. Thanks
Have
a
a
lot,
good
man.
night. Bye now.
Bye.
Oh,
he hung
he's
up.
out. Yeah.
He's out.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, that was awesome. He
we don't even have to hang up for them.
Yeah, he's probably sleeping. He's like, oh. He's raring to get in there. So
So if you have a couple of what ifs that we might not have thought about, throw them out our way, and we'd love to talk about
we
it.
had one more. What if the Ultimate Warrior could actually wrestle?
Yeah, well, I don't think that was
We'll
going to
end with
happen. He was definitely but a damn good bodybuilder.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So on that note, Vader, I know you were whining the other day, so I know you've been doing some sit-ups. You've lost about 35, 40 pounds now.
Well, 25. So
Shh, they don't know.
Well,
it's radio. It puts 10 pounds on you.
I'm a man of integrity.
There you go. There we go. Give me the Prince Nana.
I'm doing the Prince Nana.
Until next time.
Keep kicking out.